Today, we are going to talk about consent and bubbles, embedding theory and fiction as a means to prevent abuse in childhood. Consent is often linked to sex, but it simply means giving permission. When taught to children, it can be applied to a variety of non-sexual situations, such as giving hugs, borrowing, or sharing. But wait a second, what has gender got to do with consent? From a very young age, boys often feel pressured to fit into certain gender roles about what it means to be a man. Some of these gender roles can be positive, like protecting others and providing safety and security, but some of them can be confusing or negative. For example, boys are taught that they should always be in charge and not get pushed around by anyone, especially a girl. Boys are often expected to be the initiators in romantic or sexual relationships. They can sometimes be too assertive because underneath they're worried about rejection. It's hard for them to hear the word no. Although sex is removed from the equation when teaching consent to elementary students, the end goal is to help prevent sexual harassment and assault by teaching students about personal boundaries, how to say no, and how to respect the other's no. And in the unfortunate case that students do experience sexual abuse or harassment, how to ask for help and not keep it a secret. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 20 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18, and about 35% of sexual abuse victims are under 12 years old, elementary school age. Now that we have an idea about why consent is important, let's move on and explore how our interpersonal relations are affected by consent and physical distance. An illustrated example may be better than words. So, imagine a world where people would have bubbles as vehicles. There will be red bubbles, green bubbles, purple bubbles, even multicolored ones to cover any taste and preference. All people will be moving according to their will and getting some rest whenever they feel like it. They will be having a picnic on the grass and a souvlaki during lunch break. As people are in a safe space, they will probably be willing to park their bubble and have a chit-chat or a deep conversation with other fellows. Under a peaceful and respectful environment like this, for sure, everything will be flowing nicely. Until, all of a sudden, Bubble B crosses the line and gets into Bubble A's zone. The bubble bursts and they fall down. Everything is ruined. You can imagine how badly upset the first bubble driver will feel by the intruder. Some people are unaware of invading this space, but others do it on purpose. In both cases, this means that someone is inside. The bubbles serve here as a mere symbolism of the proxemics theory, described firstly by Hall in the 60s. Proxemics is the amount of space people prefer to have when engaging in conversation with others. It is classified in 4 levels: the intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space. I can't help but assume that Hall's theory is rather limited due to pointing out the importance of the centimeters that divided its subject according to their interpersonal zone. Nevertheless, I don't blame him, as back in the 60s, consent theory wasn't so elaborated. Now, we could definitely add to this that, regardless of the established relationship, either among classmates, family members, or even lovers, under no circumstances it is permissible to cross one's boundaries. In case someone does, the bubble breaks and the subject needs to take defensive actions. Therefore, teaching young children about boundaries, both theirs and others, is crucial to a child's growing sense of self, their confidence, and how they should expect to be treated by others. A child growing up knowing that he or she has a right to his/her own personal space gives that child ownership and choices as to what happens to them and to their body. What should parents, teachers, and caregivers do in order to strengthen every child's bubble so as not to get broken? Let's go through some simple methods to practice consent in everyday life. First of all, permission is important. Asking for and granting permission is important, especially when it comes to something like physical affection. Moreover, they can change their mind. There are times when your child will say yes, but want to change it into a no, due to the experience, emotions, fear, etc. they may feel. Allow them to change their mind, and as well, teach them to respect it if someone else changes their mind as well. What's more, allow them to say no to hugs. Allowing them to give and receive physical affection on their own terms makes it possible for them to realize that they have their own voice. Let's check out some examples on how to ask for consent. When you're going to touch your child or move into their personal space, practice asking them if it is okay. May I hold your hand? Can I get a hug? Will you let me brush your hair? This small act can teach them that they have a say in who touches them, how they are touched, a hug, a kiss, a high five, and of course when. And last but not least, practice consent in front of them. It is highly important to model consent for them. Let them see that when someone says no, you respect it. Every time you respect others, you are teaching them about respect, especially when it comes to the people in your circle of trust. So, now you have a to-do list to start with. Good luck!